I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is All the Mods 10. Now, I tell you what, this All the Mods star prep has been kind of ridiculous. There is so much that needs to be put into this actual process that it's just really overwhelming at the moment. But I think I can work my way through this. Now, today is going to be more or less about producing Nether stars at an absurdly quick rate. Because if there is one thing holding me back, regardless of how fast we make anything else, it's going to inevitably be Nether stars. Now, in between episodes, I've been quite busy. I will say very, very busy. I have essentially cleared out a ton of these items and got most of the things required for the star already crafted up, and not just crafted one, no, crafted 18. For example, like the multi-threader, right? That was a big one. This one right here, 18 multi-threaders, pretty huge. Now, something else that is going to be pretty huge, like I've mentioned in the last episode, is that 256M portable item cell. This one's going to take a while. It's going to be something that I work on over time. But all good things do come in time. So speaking of time, let's make the best use of it by getting that Nether star automation set up. Now, when it comes to Nether stars, at the moment, I'm producing them relatively quick. This is about how fast they are just being produced. You can see right here, we are soul surging them, which is going to kind of be what we do today. However, it is going to be accelerated way faster than what you currently see here. But as you can see, this room is getting kind of cramped, and well, I think this might be time for us to make, well, a compact cube. And that's right, because Compact Machines is back, baby, and that means we can make ourselves one of the biggest compact machines. If I go to click how to make these, you can see we go up in tier. We have tiny, we have farming, giant, Soarin'. We also have small, colossal, normal, and large, and the biggest one is definitely the Soarin' one from what I have seen. So this one I believe is like a 45 by 45 by 45, very, very large room. So let's go ahead and craft it. What does it require? Not much, actually. We do need some buttons, it looks like. I'm pretty sure I have everything else. Yeah, you can see all of the crafting patterns and recipes. I literally just added a ton of them in here when I was working on getting all of this crafted up. But there we go. There is our one. We're also going to need a shrinking device for this. And this will allow me to literally go into space, into a compact dimension from within my base. By simply right-clicking here, I can just teleport in to this massive, massive area. Now, right at the moment, I am in the very center. I'm going to place a block for right now, just to kind of put this in perspective of how large this is. But this is going to be perfect, right? Because what I want to do is I essentially want this block to just produce or simulate producing a ton, and I mean a ton of Nether stars. Now, how is this all going to be possible? How are we going to transfer items into this area? Well, I don't actually want to use the wireless AE to do this. Actually, I want to handle everything the good old-fashioned way with a classic Ender chest from the Ender storage mod. So essentially, we can have a chest right here that is getting the predictions that are going to be needed, and we can send it directly to this chest, and then we can just output it to all of our machines. And then finally, we can have another Ender chest that we accept all of the product from, and we send that back into our AE system. Now, for this to work, it is in another dimension, so we do have to make sure that this is claimed, and preferably all chunk loaded if at all possible. Now, something else we can do, we can shift right click anywhere in here with our current shrinking device, and that will make sure that we spawn in that location whenever we enter back in. But of course, to get out, we just right click, and that's going to spawn us right in the same position where we click this. So now for the fun part, right? I think right here would be a good spot to start setting up our Ender chest. One here, and we are going to start exporting out into this Ender chest underneath the white channel, which is fine, all of these prediction matrices. So a little bit of that and one of those, and maybe some acceleration cards too, to make sure this crafts up nice and fast. And that should be everything needed. That's going to start filling that up very, very quick, and we're going to need this to fill up quick and craft quickly, because if we set up a bunch of these, we're going to have to make sure we can keep up. Now, something else to note. we can essentially support about 5 of these simulation chambers on one loot fabricator. So that is kind of how I'm going to arrange these. I'm going to have a bunch of the simulation chambers, 5 of them, and then it's going to lead into a loot fabricator. That loot fabricator is then going to send its items into another ender chest. So let's grab another ender chest, set up just like this. However, this one is going to be dyed. I'm going to go ahead and place both of them together. This will be our receiving. We can do like black dye for this, no big deal. And you just color the tops, right click it to change the channel. If you're playing on a server, by the way, right click this with diamond and it will lock it to you as the player and not be freely available on a server. Something to kind of note. But there we go. So now we have this available to us, and this will be an import, basically allowing us to send our items back. Now, as I was putting this together, I was like, you know what? I am actually going to need my applied energistic system. So you know what? I'm actually going to put a quantum ring right here, and I'm going to have a quantum ring back at our base. And that's because we are going to want to soul surge this. So we are going to need to quantum bridge into this dimension. It's actually not too difficult. I'll show you how to do that. But first, let's talk about how this is going to be formatted. So I have these branching off the middle, 10 blocks, and that's because I want to leave a space between these. I'll probably have to take this out even further, but I'm going to have 5 per line. But if we're going to soul surge, there needs to be like a 2-block gap. So we're going to leave these, and that way I can soul surge as many faces as possible on this machine. So I'm going to have to continue this out. It looks like even further here as I start to lay these patterns out, but leaving a 2-block gap in between each seems to do the trick. Now we can always go vertical with this if we need more, but I really think that this is going to do the trick. 40 of these individual simulation chambers is going to be quite a lot. So now with that set up, let's go ahead and actually blow some stuff up. I do want to go ahead and link with a singularity. So we're going to have to toss those items on the ground. Then we can use a button. And when this blows up, it's going to create a quantum entangled singularity. So there we go. So now we have 2 quantum entangled singularities. They are linked together. These are the only 2 that'll ever stack. And we need to link them together. So let's build our quantum bridge that is going to get our AE system together. For this, you are going to need a quantum ring. It looks just like this. And then on the inside, you're going to have a quantum link chamber. Once all of that connects, it looks a little bit like this. And then we can put our quantum singularity in here, but we now need to go back home and we need to build another one back at our base here. I'm also thinking, we could potentially build one like right here and just tie it in to this channel right here. So it's all kind of kept contained within its own area. I think that might look pretty good. It's not going to be too bad, I don't think. And by the way, this does carry power and everything over. It's really nice. And it just is going to give us wireless access just like that to our other network. So let's grab some cables, some dense cables here. And I'll just run the dense cable into this. I think I'm going to bring it down like so, just to make sure we have those channels. Unfortunately, I don't know if I can disconnect it from being connected here, but we'll have to just check and see how it handles our channels. So let's check. Let's go ahead and place a cable here. We have 0 of 32. I don't think, though, that this is carrying 32, but it definitely is carrying the normal amount. So let's grab a cable here, place it down. And what I'm going to do is I'm just actually going to run a single cable here, 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 and here. And I'm going to use this for the souls with an interface. And I'll just have an interface on all of these intersections right here. Now, this is going to come at a cost. I am actually going to have to scale up my infrastructure here. And what I'm going to have to do is make sure we're upgrading this to max efficiency. And yes, this is quite a bit. And I'm hoping that our current setup with our stasis chambers can keep this healed fast enough. Because if not, that is going to probably pose a little bit of a problem. But it does look like it's doing fine. And my goodness, with this upgraded, oh man, this is filling up so fast. So I guess it's now time for the fun part, just routing the pipe logistics. Now, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to send items through the top. So it's just going to run on the top. This is going to send in the predictions. And then in the bottom, this is where we're going to extract. And I'm going to be extracting into our other machines that we're going to be setting up. So all of our loot fabricators that are going to be down the line or what have you. And so they're all going to get sent to these, and these are also going to be accelerated as well. So I guess it kind of makes sense to have them placed, for example, like this. And man, this is really going to let the pipes mod shine here, so I can actually see these nice textures from the darker pipes. Resource pack, by the way, you can find it on CurseForge, that I did make for this. So there we go. Look at that. Getting all of them ran just like so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have all of these set to extract. This, of course, is going to link into here as well, all pulling from one central chest, essentially. Now, it does look like we can actually input directly into the bottom, for example, of the loot fabricator here. So that might be something that is going to be perfect, right? We're going to have this sending the stuff on the bottom, and then on the top, we'll just route into a single black ender chest, right? Because that's the idea, is the input chest will be kind of right here. So yeah, it's going to look a little bit like this. Both of these essentially connecting in from both sides. And this shouldn't be the fast part, but we may have to put pipe upgrades on here. Now, I think I'm also going to be able to get away with our failed predictions, I guess you can call them, needing somewhere to go by using what I think is the default nearest first. So it's going to pull out, it's going to look for a place to send an item. If the item can go into this container, which is first in the line, it'll send it to here, and then the residual stuff can just go back into the ender chest. I think this is a good way. It's not a destructive way, but we may have to also store these predictions eventually, so this will save us. It should try to send into the loot fabricator first before trying to send the normal predictions here, but everything else should end up directly in our input. So if all else fails, it'll make its way right here, which is going to be perfect. So almost everything is ready to go. Whenever we do set this to pull, which we can go ahead and do right now, these are going to need at least a diamond tier upgrade card from the pipes mod. And that's because I do want this to be round robin. So we're going to have these cards, and whenever I put them in here, right, I want to make sure to set the distribution to round robin. That way it'll just evenly separate all of these items between the machines. So now it's at this point, you're probably going, Chosen, like, how in the world are you going to gather 40 Wither simulation cards, like data cards? Well, you can actually keep a bunch of them in your inventory and kill a bunch of withers all at once. So for this to work, I'm going to need 40 of the model data frameworks. Yeah, it's a lot. I'm going to fill my backpack with them essentially, but all of them that are contained within here. And then if we want to do all of them at one time, 10 of the deep learners is what's going to be required of me. I think getting the wither trapped underneath the area so I can easily click them is going to be the best way to technically get the frameworks done. And you know, actually, we could probably just like completely withstand this and just stand inside of here. Like, no problem whatsoever. I probably shouldn't even be worried about this at all. So yeah, only a few more data models and voila, I now have all of them. But now I only have 4 slots essentially per card. So I'm going to have to just make sure and do these one by one, making sure I'm filling them all to completion. And there's the last 4. Okay, so now I have all of these completely filled. And what I can technically do is go ahead and take, for example, this one out. And you can see on every single one of them, it now says 5 remaining. So all I have to do now, well, is take out 5 of these guys. And it's actually going to be easier than you might think. I can do it, I think, all in one go. Because you know what? 5 withers, what honestly is 5 withers? As soon as they make their explosion noise, I am shooting the projectile, and we should be easily able to take them all out. Or most of them anyways. Yeah, I'll just... Oh no! That is just pure absurdity. But there we go. All of them are in now basic mode. So now I guess we go ahead and trial this out, right? As soon as I put this in, the predictions are going to go ahead and start flooding in. And I've got to start lining these out. And this is before we even start soul surging anything. Okay, so all of them are in, but now we're going to have to start worrying about power. Now, I do have tons of power that's coming in from AE, and they just recently added in a recent update the Flux Networks mod. So I'm thinking, how about we use a Flux accessor to technically pull power out, and then we can set all of our points over here. So how am I going to do that? Let me kind of show you. First, to get started, I need to go down into the mines, and then I'm going to go ahead and toss a bunch of redstone down. And then I need to punch all of this redstone. By the way, I'm holding Control Shift and hitting Q to toss it all out of my inventory like that. But essentially I punch, and it's going to convert as much as it can within its recipe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stacks roughly. And then it gets rid of that obsidian. So to rinse and repeat, we got to do the whole thing over. And there is a bunch of methods, by the way, of generating this passively, but we're kind of late in the game here, so it kind of makes sense for me just to make it like this. But there is an extractor recipe that does use some of that charged applied flux crystals, which we're going to be using some of that that applied flux technically. And so I think what I'll do is I will run up some green because I'm using purple over there. I'm going to put a cable just like this, and I'm going to use a flux accessor, just like I mentioned. I'm going to put a plug on this, and this will just be our main network. We have to create a new network, and I'm going to call it main. And we can set it to whatever. I like green. Green is going to be fine. And so we'll have that ready to go. We do have to select it, and then I want to make sure to bypass any limit. We don't want to have to worry about any sort of limit on our current network. So now that we have a plug there, that's how we're going to receive power. We need to take our point, and we need to use our point in here. So I have 40 of them ready to go. But you don't actually have to go into these menus over and over again. Once you have it set and we have it selected, and then we set the bypass limit, we shouldn't have to worry about this anymore. You can see this is now powered and ready to go. What we can do is use a flux configurator, and we can shift right click to copy the settings. So I can just simply right click and paste all of these onto the backs of these machines, just like that. At least it should be pasting. It doesn't actually seem like it is pasting. Maybe this feature, no, it is. It just didn't update the color for some reason. I wonder, can I reload and go back? Maybe it will update the colors. No, it didn't. That is very interesting. What an interesting bug. Now, bugs aside, this does actually work. It does look like if I paste the configuration and then break it, it does change the color of it and everything. And notice, by the way, all of the settings do get saved whether you break it or not. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and make sure all of these are transferred over. And then I'm just going to break them, pick them back up again. It sounds kind of weird, but it's going to save me so much time going inside of a configuration menu. So I think for right now, I'm going with 1 soul surge, but we can add up to like 3, right? We can 3 total. And I think that will be a good number to eventually get to if that's absolutely necessary, which it probably is going to be necessary. But for right now, I want to get at least this connected, and these are going to run straight through here, coming directly off of our interfaces. So I'm thinking I can just connect to the side. I think that works, right? Yes, that definitely works. So I'm going to connect to the side, and just to make this nice and clean, we'll leave the center cleared out, and these are all just going to get connected like so. So I guess it's the moment of truth and time to let it rip. All we have to do is say, hey, Nether stars on all of these. That one's already running. That was the one I tested on originally. And there we go. We'll just select Nether stars, and that's what we're ultimately trying to make a ton of. And exciting news, just as I was hoping, it does send to these first. So it sends to the first connected inventory, and then we'll send to the remainder. So just like that, we are seeing the predictions running out just as we should, and everything is running smoothly. I mean, the only thing that can make this faster, oh man, is making sure we have enough predictions coming in. That could be a problem. You know what? We might have to go with the next tier pipe upgrade. Yeah, that'll definitely solve this problem. Oh, well, actually, there may not have been a problem at all. I just don't actually have a wither prediction in here. Or what? Oh, I guess I had some of them in my applied energistic system for whatever reason. Now, I'm hoping our soul network can keep up with all of this, but I'm putting them all in. This is what also makes this really nice, because whenever I add a new one just like this, it's going to automatically connect right up into the pipe. And there we go. This is going to start really running fast. And I expect the power cost to be very, very high. Thankfully, though, with this, we can see our statistics here. We can see already we're almost pulling like, what, 1 million FE just off of what we have going so far. Well, it's been done. Look at all of this. This is just absurdity, honestly. And all of this just to be able to make sure we can maintain and get enough nether stars. I mean, it's a lot. It is a lot. Like, I will say that. It's a lot to think about. It's a lot of nether stars needed. My goodness. Now, can we see our stars going up? Yes. Is it fast enough? I mean, it looks like we've already jumped like 100,000 stars in just a short period of time. So remember, we have to get to 1.7 million to have enough to make all 18 stars. So this will be working and continue to work a few thousand every so minutes. Thankfully, while I start working on some of the other stuff, and there's, yeah, it's gonna build up for sure, and probably not take as long as it took me to generate them in all the mods 9, because with my small setup I did there, we for the first time in a long time had to actually AFK the setup, and I normally don't do that. This is all done in single player, like active play. So wow, this is definitely a setup here. Now, keep in mind the speeds that you're currently seeing are not the actual max speeds because these data models have not made it all the way up yet. But look how quickly it is now pulling, and thankfully it seems that our pipes are actually keeping up. This is the thing we want to make sure can fully keep up, and it looks like it's doing a pretty good job. It's only going to get faster from here. Now, the funny part about all of this is happening inside of this single block here. Just putting that in perspective. So yeah, that was pretty awesome. But now that we have all of those things producing, let's go back and touch on a few things that I worked on in between episodes. So this right here is essentially waiting to be turned into a tier 5 Hephaestus Forge. All I have to do is simply hit the hammer on it, and this bad boy is ready for an upgrade. Oh, look at that. That's actually a new pattern. Is that exclusive to like the top tier forges? Ooh. So this is all, like I said, relatively new to me. As far as like the new stuff, I think this is exclusive like to the 121. So yeah, it's been a wild ride watching this particular mod, the Forbidden Arcanus, like upgrade over time. That popping sound, upgrade over time. It's such good artwork though. I will say all of their textures just look really, really good. But there we go. So now we have more storage for all of our souls. So we can put more souls in there, get that stored up. Back into Forbidden, I do want to put my pedestals back up. And yes, if you were wondering, is there a way to accelerate some of these things? There are, and this will be automated down the road. But right now we can technically tick accelerate all of these with our time wand and time fluid. And we can make this fill that bar up incredibly fast. It doesn't look like it at first, but it's like it apparently like transfers the amount like into here over a period of time, but it just collects more and just dumps a huge amount in here every time it does that operation. So pretty cool right there. As far as blood goes, the way I'm collecting it is by a single chicken spawner, and I'm using my fantastic R spell, and by letting these guys build up, I just essentially use the death spell, and it takes them all out and fills up the blood that's inside of here. Yeah, very easy. And also the residual does take a few out as well. There will be a different way. I think we'll be able to use our evil craft blood here soon, but yeah, 'tis the way right here. Now, some other things that I am working on is making, for example, the Stella bee. So now that I have this, I can easily make myself the Stellarite bee, but I already have a bee technically in the chamber right now that is being worked on. And that is a Supremium bee that I got worked up. And I am producing the genes from this bee. And we're going to need this for a few different setups. One, I do want to make the awakened material, and we can actually make an awakened bee. To be able to make that awakened bee, we need a Supremium bee. So I've got my Supremium bee, but I also want to make an Insanium bee. And so that also requires a Supremium bee. So once I got to that one, I decided to gene sample this, and let's grab some treats and good old fashioned treat farming. That way we can split this up and get ourselves 2 Supremium spawn eggs. It is so nice to know that this is how you can duplicate bees, because man, it has been all of the packs I played where that was just not a thing, like that I didn't even know about. And I could have done it that way. No, instead, I chose the hardest route possible. But there we go. Now we have 2 Supremiums, and I think my Insanium is already ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're also going to need 1 for the main block. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I can't believe this, but we're about to make an Insanium B. Yeah, this is insane. It's exactly what it is. A bee that just passively produces Insanium essence. Like it's ridiculous. Leviathan's doing really good over here. The best seat in the house. There it is, Insanium B, and we'll just grab a cage, drop it in, and we are good to go. Perfect, Insanium B. That's about as insane as it gets. I'll just throw it in here with my Supremium one, might as well, and put the Insanium block in here, and there we go. Give it a little bit of a kick, making sure that I have somewhere to store this. I am going to need to use my time wand here, because this will get converted into Insanium essence, I believe, and Supremium essence, and we need to make sure we're storing this properly. Now, that other Supremium essence, I'm gonna save that for another time, or the Supremium B, not essence. We are going to need that, like I said, for the Awakened, this one right here. All right, so I still have 1 more bee to make. I do want to make the Stella bee. This requires an Ancient Bee spawn egg, basically the Nether bee, and we just need some more Stellas. I think I have 3 Stellas, so I only have to make 1 more. Everything else we have, and then we have a bee that literally just produces Stellas. All right, so I'm about to make that bee. There's the Ancient. I think I have everything for it. Yeah, everything's lined out. And we're looking mighty fine. I think the big requirement, right, was the fact that it is a tier 5. Now, what does this actually require? Just a block of stellarite? That's not bad at all either. And we also are farming a ton of the Stella simply due to our giant ore cube that we're generating resources with. So yeah, this will be great. That way we'll have at least this bee, and this bee, of course, just like all of them, they can be duplicated as well. Just by using the Pokey Pokey. I did notice it looks like there might have been a bug in the prior versions where the eggs weren't getting consumed, because the eggs get consumed now. That might have been an actual bug. I didn't even realize. But there we go. So there's just about everything. We'll put the slab in here and get some upgrades inside of here for our bees. Very nice. I think 1 for right now is going to be more than enough, since considering how we can accelerate this. And we'll spawn our bee in. Pick that bad boy up, plop it in, give it a whirl, and hopefully we actually get a Stella, because it is a 1% chance to actually get a Stella when it is farmed. So, I mean, it may be honestly faster for us to do it by hand. But yeah, this is going to produce the stellarite. We just got to keep an eye on it. Oh, there we go. There's the Stellas that have already built up. Never mind, I was wrong. That's okay. It's generating them fast. Okay, really fast. Oh boy. Yeah, this might be something I just do once. That's fine. And oh my gosh, this produces X purified ore. I didn't actually realize that it was producing all of this. And that completely backed up all of my storage. Not a good thing, by the way. We have to go functional. I want to put a couple of stack upgrades in here. Yeah, that's probably not good. But there we go. Now it's all in there, and definitely void upgrades as well, especially on this stuff. But I guess that kind of checks another thing off the list, right? We no longer need the 18 Stellas. It's just going to passively produce them. Now, there is one other thing that is honestly needing to be passived and just kind of let run, and that is the production of these legendary inks. Now, I think that we can technically get legendary inks by upgrading epic ink. That is one way we can do this. But I don't exactly know what all mobs drop legendary ink. I do know, however, that if we can find ourselves a pyromancer tower, or any of those towers that are close by, we can farm these mobs with Trigmies. And I do know they'll at least give us epic ink over time. And I mean, we don't need much. We just need simply enough to make 18 of those scrolls. So this mob should be located in this building near the bottom, if I remember correctly. Yes, there is a area down here that you can sneak into, just like this. And I think this mob will actually leave us alone. This guy will leave us alone. There it is. There's the pyromancer. Hello. So all I need to do is get you into the jar. Would you kindly, sir, get into the jar, please? Thank you, please. And boop, there we go. Perfect. So now we have the pyromancer in a jar. By the way, this guy kind of is a trader of sorts. Now you can't actually access it while you're in here, unfortunately, but yeah, the little guy is a trader. Now, the trader here should drop stuff within our Drigme farm. So that is kind of what I'm going to have to kind of work out here. So let's head into the Drigme farm and just add this guy to the list for our Drigmes to farm. Now, I wonder, can our crystal staff increase the speed of our Drigmes by chance? I don't actually know. It doesn't really seem like it. But, oh my goodness, the pig in here is being farmed for the raw ham and all kinds of stuff. But there we go. Oh yeah, look, we're already getting epic ink. So we'll at least be able to get epic ink from here, and we can always upgrade our epic ink if need be. Yes, the Drigmes do look like they are getting accelerated, which is hilarious, actually. And the more I accelerate them, the faster they will ultimately run. Is this really working? Oh my goodness, it is. Oh, wow. Okay, so yes, this crystal staff is actually insane for farming the Drigmes. I mean, look at all these things you guys get to see. This is just ridiculous. I mean, and yeah, this is just going to farm all of the different inks for us just over time. Some things I do want to get rid of and make sure they don't spawn is the actual scrolls. I really don't want the scrolls, and if you put the scroll in here, it will get rid of all of the individual scrolls. Now, after all of that running around and several things done, I feel pretty happy with the end of today's episode. And I tell you what, we are nearing, and I mean nearing, the actual production of the All the Mod Star. We're going to be getting very close to actually building the multi-block altar for it and all kinds of other stuff that we're going to be working towards. So be sure to click the subscribe button if you enjoy content like this and you're enjoying these videos, because I do publish almost every single day. So you might end up missing a few if you're, well, not subscribed. So guys, also give this video a huge thumbs up, help that algorithm out by commenting down below. And of course, it's now time to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. Oh, but real quick, look how fast this is. That's so fast, and we have 8 of those running. Anyways, time to thank the supporter of today's episode, right? And that huge thanks is going to go out to Matt MGK3. Thank you, by the way, so much for your amazing support and choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and supporting in one of the best ways possible. And guys, I thank all of you, of course, for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed this series thus far, and looking forward to some fresh, new All the Mod Star production processes. It's all going to happen very, very soon. So I hope you guys are ready, and guys, I'll see you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.